Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, look at the working environment, feel the environment in here in comparison to there already. And I actually still don't have enough planted in here. I came through when we did the pruning to adding more bananas, because the bananas, we made sure between every single eucalypt to pack up and make sure we're not losing moisture.
Bananas stop loss of moisture.
Well, for that middle section, yeah, so does ground cover, so does every single structure, like I showed you on the map. So you're losing minimal amount of moisture out of the environment. So this is showcasing for avocado growers, because the avocado is a forest tree.
Yeah.
Now my avocados will never get Phytophthora. Phytophthora is wiping out avocado farms left, right, centre. That's one of the biggest fears. And I've got these agronomists out there that are injecting the trees to try and stop the Phytophthora, and they're still not pulling it up. And it's like, my avocados cannot get Phytophthora. Number one, my ground is covered, it's cool, the banana is planted right beside it, so it's actually holding moisture and releasing moisture and actually controlling the moisture content within the soil. If there is a massive rainfall, the eucalyptus is going to suck it up. And I've also got cassava in there, which there's so many different things that work together, you don't get those diseases. So as a grower, you're far more resilient, you're far more productive. The figures coming out of Brazil at the moment, a farm's productivity is 700% increase in their productivity of their farms per acre.
What's cassava do? Because I noticed there's a lot.
I use it here in the middle. That's not necessarily for harvesting, because you don't want to be pulling them out against your trees. I've used that in there I've given that many cuttings away to growers, but I also use that as a massive root mass, because you know the size of cassava can get, like root mass, to build topsoil. Active roots in the thing, fast building topsoil underneath for me. And so I don't necessarily have to harvest some things, like the same with the sweet potato. It's not about harvesting sweet potato, but it's about building topsoil, it's about building worms, life for them.
Well, there's a whole story there for, you know, tapioca flour and all of that, you know, be a whole new thing up here.
If I wanted to grow cassava for cassava production, as in the root production, I would grow it out here. But I would grow it with, you know, say, you could put it with corn, cassava, ginger, so much in one same space, and then you come through and harvest the whole lot. You can harvest your corn and that off, then your turmeric or ginger or cassava can come out as a root crop later. So that could move into this section here. Otherwise, like I said, you could, as cattle growers, could be strip grazing in here. And like I said, once they're your living posts, you don't need to be going and putting fence posts in.
Yeah, and it'd be much nicer for them. I feel really sorry
what's
for the cattle
beautiful,
without
a paradise
trees.
in here for them. They're happier, they're more content. The grass is greener.
Just eat the cassava and the bananas and
Well, they may do.
Yeah, they would, yeah.
But like we said, Ernst reckons 2 years. Once the system's up to a 2-year system, then bring the cattle in.
So under the mulch here, it's like this, is it? Do you have it?
Oh, when we do a bed, yeah, it is done like that. So that oftenly we've been taught, and I was taught the same in agriculture. We do these mounded beds. The problem with mounded beds is any moisture hits, it runs out. Also, there goes your nutrient, and they hold more heat in a mounded bed. We do make our beds, like Neil says, a bum shape. That are like this. That way when the moisture comes in, it's centered in the center where your main crop is. The heat can get out of there, and your nutrient is held in there. There's been a lot of misinformation we've been taught. And yeah, like I said, I've had a lot of criticism, but can you tell me that you can't grow stuff with eucalyptus?
Is that 3 metres apart, are they?
Yeah, I've done 3 metres apart on these ones. Skirting, we know by the look of the tree, you'll see a change in the timber on the tree, where you can skirt up to. We also take a lot of notice on what nature is doing, because it's got millions of years of knowledge. We don't have that very long years of knowledge. And so we really, and that's a big thing that farming has got to learn again, to be an observer. Because nature knows best. And observe what's going on. And I know now to tip prune some of these out very soon, because I'm starting to see the wind is actually snapping a couple of tops out, which means they're saying we're ready to be pruned. So then just go prune.
So you need one of those lifter things to go up?
Yeah, we've got boom lifts here.
Yeah.
I would prefer to use a cherry picker with a swivel on it. That way you're just driving one track down, because there's least amount of compaction you can do better. If you could just drive down and swivel, and that way you could swivel around and do your pruning. Because I'm not as good as those Brazilians. I'm not running up that tree.
I wouldn't run up that tree either.
Yeah.
And then what are you doing with the prunings?
Everything goes straight back down on the
into this bed, yeah.
But they're like big hunks of things. Would you chop them into bits first?
Yeah, we chop them up into, like you said, the small branches are in there. Or if that worries you, put them through a wood chipper. But know that going through a wood chipper, they will break down a lot faster. And so you're going to have you need something more, a lot more coverage.
It lasts longer.
Yeah.
You don't want to break it up too small.
Yeah, I just chop the branches up. As you'll see, they're chopped up and they're laid down as straight as I can, so they're not bits hanging out everywhere. So that when I come through with the rice harvester or the grass cutter, that I can still put it on there and I'm not ripping bits of branches out as I'm driving down. So it's all about mechanisation.
How low will your profits usually?
We'll go for a walk there now. But anyway, this one, they were put in by seed. So it's going to be an interesting, because some of the stuff coming from Brazil is they've gone away from using grafted plants now in a lot of areas. Because what they find where the graft is, the graft actually causes a scar tissue, and then the communication isn't happening between the roots and the top of the tree.
That makes
it's actually
sense.
creating more pest attack and more stress on the tree.
Yeah.
How that works, right?
Yeah, so we did it by seed to see what happens and see how quick, if in a system like this, we might get, they did it by grafting to get, quicker production in, because they're a one-hit wonder crop when they're monoculturing, so they need it in as fast as they can to get their crop.
Yeah, they also get treated tight.
Yeah, they do get treated
Like if you want
tight.
the old apples freeze.
But is that a good idea? Think about the long-term idea of that. True to type means you've only got one variety that's going to stick at that variety. It's not able to adapt to climate changes or anything.
And you don't necessarily get true to type off that seed, off that avocado that's grafted,
No, you
whereas
don't.
if you've got the
Even
true seed goes
even the
to a
fruit seed, you're not
true
getting true
tree.
to exactly that avocado. But that knowledge from that avocado is able to adapt better by the seed.
Yeah.
Our long-term, take another 100 years, I think, on grafting, and we're going to wish we never did it. Develop a coconut industry. The coconut will go right up over the top of this mango and give this mango beautiful shade. The coconut's an emergent. And so it'll shade this. This is a high strata.
How old is the coconut? The mango?
Mango is the same age as these guys, so 2.5 years. So by the time I'm going
at the same time.
by the time I go to pick this, it'll be 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And for a 3-year-old tree, nearly all the mango trees have got, on an average, about 50 fruit on each tree. I'm working with Growcom at the moment, and they can't believe the production on that, on a 3-year-old tree. Not only just being 3-year-old, because it's in 2 years earlier than normal, but that much production on that tree.
And so for your organic mangoes that you're growing here, can you just run by again what sort of chemicals monoculture mango farmers are putting on? Including what you were saying about the sunscreen.
Well, they're doing them with sunscreen, but there's all the different kinds of, chemicals that can go, that they're fertilisers that they're going on there, plus anything to stop insects are going on, pesticides,
herbicides, fungicides.
any side that is a killer.
Ecocide.
They're all ecocides, they're genocides, they're, you name it. It's disastrous, and yet when we get the ecology right, we don't have to use any of it. And like I said again, I am currently running figures on these where I am actually running 7 times less water than what they are using in these systems. That in itself is massive, let alone all the other benefits.
Especially these days.
Mangoes are exactly the same spacing as monoculture is apart, but look how much more density of other crops that we can have in here, so that everything's stacked and we're not losing moisture. In here is not losing moisture, and that's why these systems work, because everything, it works like a forest does, but everything's in exact right spaces.
And what sort of crops have you had from underneath so far? Underneath this?
So far, ginger, the pumpkins at the beginning. We trialled it. We had greens in as well, because we really wanted to trial this, really see what's going on. And I had lush greens growing underneath it, rainbow chards and all them. They didn't even get a pest attack. What I found was the pests that eat the eucalyptus. I had lush greens growing underneath it, didn't even touch them. I was like, oh my God, this is huge for organic agriculture. This is an answer we really need.
They were going for the brand new leaves.
They went for the pioneers. They pruned them out. I seen the eucalyptus with not a leaf left on it, and yet there was green growing underneath and not even being touched. Yeah, it was a mind blower.
Feeding the insects, but intelligently leaving the food for.
Yeah, and I think what actually happens also, because it's been proven, that these actually will then communicate within the network of the soil, which we find trees do, and they'll actually tell the other plants, hey, get your immune system up happening, that I'm under attack. And so these plants all around can get their immune systems up, going. Happy days.
Happy days.
Dragon fruit on, all that poison is being released into the soil. You can grow it. That is your living growth.
No dragon fruit's over a wheel on the bike.
We had the radishes came out first. We had pak choi in there. We had the lettuces in there. We've got the, what else has come out of here? I've just got to try and think of everything. We've got cucumbers harvesting now. We've got the strawberries harvesting now. Asparagus, cassava, taro, passadilla, grapes, passion fruit. Did I say dragon fruit? Eucalyptus, bananas, mulberries, beans. I think I'm nearly done. out of one row.
They're commercially.
In commercially?
But do you sell that to co-op?
Yeah, we sell that into the co-op.